Hey guys, alright, what I'm doing here is I've set up 2 pans of oil, just any ordinary cheap vegetable oil. So I have 2 pans. They are intended for an oil bath. I'm going to be decarbing a concentrate in one oil bath, and the other is deeper. It's set up for honey. What I'm going to be doing in the honey, excuse the glare, there's 2 jars of honey there, and next to it is 190 proof Everclear. In the honey, after I decarb the concentrate, which I have 4 grams of shatter here, I'm going to actually, I can heat that up with this right now. That's in the oil bath. And I have it set on, let me get the air bubbles out from underneath it. I have it set on a ring, just a mason jar ring, to keep it off the bottom of the pan. And it's decarboxylating in an oil bath so that I can control the temperature of the oil. Of course, I'm not going to use water because that stops at 212. I want to bring up the oil to 250 degrees so that I can decarb this, and we'll actually be able to see the carbons leaving the concentrate, hence decarb, so that once it stops bubbling, all the carbons are gone, and then I will put equal amounts of Everclear into the decarbed shatter, and since there's 4 grams, I'll use 4 milliliters and make a little tincture, and then I will put that into the honey and evaporate off the Everclear from the honey. Once the honey reaches the right temperature, I'll put the tincture into that, and then that will leave behind the essential oil, which is the tincture, the shatter, and it should evenly distribute through the honey. I'm also going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of sunflower lecithin to help bind the decarb shatter to the honey, so there won't be any separation. So that's about it. That's what we're starting right now. So I have 2 of them going, and I have thermometers in them right now, and they're heating evenly. Right now I'm about 125, so it's going to take a bit, and I'll pause and come back and forth and keep you updated. As you can see, let's see. Yeah, it's just now starting to melt a little bit. I didn't want to put the jar in after it got too hot because, of course, I didn't want to introduce it to a really hot pan. And I don't want to put the honey in too soon in this oil bath because I don't want it to crystallize. I don't want the honey to get too hot for too long. So I'm thinking about moving this big pan of oil and introduce it back to the heat here momentarily. So we'll come back. See you in a few. Okay, well, as you can see, I changed jars because 2 things happened. My griddle, my electric griddle that I had my pans on, was not getting hot enough for me to for the oil to get at temperature. So I was making a transfer to my stove, and after I turned around to walk away, the little jar that I had sitting on the ring flipped over. So ruined 4 grams of shatter. So that kind of broke my heart. Not kind of, it did. So I had to set up all over again. So as you can see, I'm doing this on my stove, open flamed. I have a metal trivet in the pan, And I have a bigger glass jar because I just threw the other one away. I had a few tears, got over that. Got 4 more grams. And currently the temperature of the oil is at 240 degrees. So I'm able to control that with my flame. It's set at 4 on a gas stove. And I can take it down to low, and when it was at low, it was only at 225, so I know that I can bring it down. It's still rising, but as you can see, I'll show you. There are bubbles forming. Let's see if I can zoom in. See the bubbles forming? Those are carbons that are cooking out of the wax. So it is decarbing right there before our very eyes. I love science. I love that we can see that it's actually doing what we can do with other products in an oven. So we're doing that right there. So as soon as this is done bubbling, then I know that it's been decarbed. And we'll keep checking in. I can watch it. You can see it right through here too. I'll keep that going. I love that. I think I'll go ahead and get the other pan of oil going for the honey, but I think I'm going to have to probably transfer the trivet over because the other trivets I have are much taller and it's just not going to work for the depth of the honey that I need submerged into the oil. So this is going to be a process, but I have a pause button on my side. You guys just get to watch it straight through. Lucky you. But I wanted to share this so that everybody can see that this is something that you can do at home. And it doesn't really cost very much. Unless you dump the jar over in the oil pan like I did and ruin 4 lovely grams of cheddar. Yeah, that was not fun. But, in the meantime, I'm going to set myself up to dab. And I have a house stone. So I can just do this right here. Actually, let me remove this. I should have done that first. See if I can do this without knocking over this other pan of oil. So, what I'm going to be doing with my honey is infusing it into pureed fruit and making homemade fruit leather in my dehydrator. You do not have to have a dehydrator. You can do it in your oven. It's best to have like a silicone liner on your pans. Let me do this. I just wanted to flip that around. Let me get a dab going. For those of you who don't know, this is a house stone. It's made of ceramic material. It's porous, and there is no preheating involved. You take your dab, which I'm going to use my fingers because I don't have my dab tool, and you put it on your stone cold. And you do not need a torch. It takes a 3-flame cigar lighter like this. That's all it needs. And you get to control the heat, which makes for a healthier dab. It makes for it to be colder on your throat and on your lungs. And it's easier for those of us who don't like to dab because it's hot, it's harsh, and you don't get to taste it or anything like that. This is a great way to preserve your terpenes. You get to taste all of the flavonoids, and it's really luscious. And you get to take a bigger dab too. And the thing I like about the house stone is it holds your reclaim, and you can go back and hit that stone later when it doesn't have a dab on it. So you get twice your hit, twice your high, so your product goes twice as far. And then when it finally does release it, look how beautiful that color is, how glistening that is. You can clean that out and cook with that. It's fantastic to cook with. So here we go, this dab's for you. And you can touch that stone right away. It's cold. See, there's no heat involved, whatever. It's safe. You know, you don't get burns on your arms or anything like that. If you reach across and touch it, oh, no, no. Yeah, see, it's safe. So now I'll go back and show you how you can hit it the second time and get another hit off of that and cloud up. Just milky this really nicely. Watch this. Oh, great. I ran out of lighter fluid. Talk about an epic fail. That's hilarious. Very lovely, very nice. Okay, well, let's see how this is doing. It's bubbling up nice. Can you see it? Let's bring that camera over here. Look at that. Lovely. Should only take about 10 minutes or so. Let me swirl that around. Nice. It's coming along nice. Fantastic. I'm glad I could do this. I've had a few people ask me to show the process, and I'm more than happy to do so. See if I can get that jar spun around so maybe we can see through that. So yeah, I have, oh, excuse me, I think the only thing, was the only thing I didn't have ready, didn't get down, was a pipette. So I had these little pipettes I just buy, you know, probably 100 at a time from Amazon, and they hold three? Yeah, they hold 3 milliliters. So, so I'm going to go 1 milliliter per gram, so I'll go 1 to 1. Since it holds 3, I'll have to be careful and just go to the second line there and do that twice in the Everclear, adding that to the decarbed shatter once it's done. It's almost done. A few little bubbles left. It's pretty simple. Get a piece of paper towel ready so I can wipe the edge of that jar off, get the oil off of it, so it'll be good to go on the counter. Do another dab. So it's good to be nice and happy and relaxed while I'm standing on my feet doing this. If I feel good, then it'll come through really nicely in the medicine. Happy mom, happy meds. That's hilarious. Okay. Still a few little bubbles in there. Oh. Temperature got up to 260, I see, so turn that down. But it's not cooking. That smells so nice. Still a few bubbles. I'm going to go tilt it side to side, just like we would, well, in the surge, in the source, I like to move it side to side in case there's anything trapped in the fluid. It looks good. Okay. I'm going to call that done. Okay. Wipe this. I want to keep you on the video while I'm doing this, because I'm going to take this out of the oil to add the tincture, because to add the tincture. It won't be tincture until I add the EVOO. It's a good time to get out anything if you see anything in it. Like I just saw something in here. Sometimes you get little particles, weed, dust, whatever. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to add the tincture. There's 2 milliliters. And I'm going to, after I stir it up, I'm going to see what it looks like, and if I think it's not thin enough, I might add a little more. Let me see. Yeah, I thought about that. Okay. So I might go 2 to 1. I thought about that. And, okay, double that. Make it nice. Look at that. Beautiful decarbed tincture. Nice. Ooh, it smells so strong using 190. Okay. I'll be back. Get that honey in there. The honey is heating up with the oil so that I don't have any breakings of the jar. I put the sunflower lecithin in the honey so that it can heat up, because it works with heat, and it actually works with work. It works with work, W-E-R-K, you know, with action. So I'm going to have to whip it. But there's also going to be a lot of action with the Everclear tincture, because that's going to be bubbling off. So there's going to be a lot of action in the jar anyways. And I'm also going to stir it a few times. So we shall see how that works out. Stay tuned. Thank you. Okay, back. I've added a thermometer to the honey because I really don't want the honey to go over 200 or 225. The oil is currently sitting at a comfortable 235. So we'll see if I can't get that to come up a little bit. Because the honey, oh, let me get in front of the little red line. The honey is only at 175, so I kind of need to get that to come up a little bit so it'll evaporate off the Everclear really nicely. And it looks like the sunflower lecithin has taken to the honey quite well. I stirred it up pretty evenly, and I took this little Dumaflaci to it. I just held the jar, and if you push this against the bottom, it makes this spin. So I just kind of whipped it up. So I kind of worked the lecithin into the honey. I did that when it was at 150 degrees. I figured that was plenty warm enough. Been working with this stuff enough to know. Science. Gotta love science. So the honey is now at 180. I think I'm going to add the tincture. Give this another little swirl. Pour that in. Didn't mean to put my hand in front of that, but and get all of it in there. Okay. Now, I think I'll just take this. I have actually it's for poking holes in cakes and things, but I'm going to use that to stir the tincture into the honey. The honey's really thin at this temperature. I don't want it to get too hot because I don't want it to crystallize. If you get honey too hot, it'll start to crystallize. Let me scoot this jar over nice. There we go. And I want that tincture to stir all the way through that honey nicely so that it carries the oil through it. I should use that little push blender again so that it emulsifies. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll take this little thing out. Might be a really good idea. Make sure that. Just hold the jar. Push it in there and it just blends. I think you can see that blending. These are really nice to have when you're mixing drinks too. In individual glasses for different flavors. Okay. I think that's got a nice blend to it. That drip off. You can see it's starting to have some action on the top of the honey. that would be the Everclear coming up to the top, because it's going to start evaporating off at that temperature. Okay. Which the oil is now at 260. 250, 60, 265 actually. Just beyond the hardball stage. Let's get that thermometer back in that, honey. Let me kick back on the heat a little bit for that oil. Let me zoom in for you. You can see that honey. And all that is the Everclear evaporating off, and it's leaving the decarbed concentrate in the honey. And with the lecithin, there's going to be complete emulsification throughout the honey. So every time you take any of it and use any of it tableside or in a recipe, you're going to have even distribution throughout your honey. And it's going to be magnificent because it's really delicious. And 4 grams in 8 ounces of honey is going to be nice and strong. Okay, we'll be back. Thank you for your interest. I wanted you to see this great action in this jar. It's so awesome. So yeah, that's the honey. And it's cooking off the Everclear. So cool. I've had many people request that I do a demonstration. So here I am doing the demonstration. And maybe if I have time at the end, I can infuse some of this into a fruit leather and show you how to spread that out onto a solid sheet for my dehydrator, and you know, show you the technique for the thickness and what you want to look for. Maybe that might be included as a bonus. It's a video bonus. This is so cool. And it's really delicious. I've even taken the fruits, and you can just take some fruit. Even you could take a bag of frozen fruit and put some in a bowl and let it thaw out, and just add some honey to it and blend it up in a blender. If you don't have, you know, you can just use a blender. Let me just say that. So blend it up and pour some into some silicone molds and put them in your freezer. And they're really a nice cool treat to cool you down if you're having a hot flash, or if it's a hot day and you don't have much of an appetite, because on hot days it's really hard to eat. So it'll cool you down real quick, which will help you to eat. So you just put them pop in your freezer, and it's a delicious, nutritious treat. So you just I would say 1 cup of frozen fruit to half a tablespoon, or even 1 tablespoon if you want a little sweeter, of honey. And you can infuse it, use infused honey if you want, and fill some silicone molds and put them in the freezer. You will thank yourself. And it's quick and easy and cheap. And it's really nice too, because you could even go to the farmer's market and get some. Or if you have a bag of fruit and you've got some that are going bad, you can cut out the bad parts and use the good parts and blend them up. And there you go. Now the bag of fruit is taken care of. And no waste. You can just fill a bunch of silicone molds. The kids will love them. Especially don't infuse them if they're for kids. But just something to think about. There's the honey. It's almost done. And it never got above 210. I love being able to control the heat. So all you gotta do is just keep thermometers in them. And open flame helps. Although I was trying to use a a griddle. What I need is an induction burner. Induction burners help. I had to take the oil above 250 in order to get the honey up a little higher in temp because it's thicker. But that's okay. You'll be able to see what you're doing and what you need to do as long as you use 2 thermometers. So I don't see much else going on here. I don't smell any alcohol. And after, you know, a little time, this foam will settle down back into your honey. Let me stir this up and see if there's anything trapped in here. There might be. That's why I kept playing with it while you could see that on camera. Looks like beer. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. I hope you're learning from it. It smells amazing. See if I can clear this side off for you. Yeah, I'm not really getting anything. At this temp, I would still see some Everclear evaporating off. I think it's gone. I would say this honey is infused. Yes. Thank you so much. I'll be back. I think I'll infuse some fruit, but I need to have this honey cool down. I can hit pause, but you can keep watching. Thanks. Okay, so what we have here is a cup of mango puree. Look at that color. Oh, it's beautiful. Just lovely. Let me get something to scoop that with. I'm going to put this in here. I have a NutriBullet, so I'm going to just put this in the NutriBullet cup. Get all that yummy goodness. And then I also have a little bit less than a cup of, listen to that seal pop, strawberry. Nom nom. So I'm making a strawberry mango. You can mix and match tons of flavors. I pureed up a bunch of fruits. I did blackberry, raspberry, peach, mango, strawberry, wait, there's more. I can't remember. It's just so many. Oh, pineapple, and I don't know. Can't remember. I made some of these yesterday for the picnic, and the granddaughters just loved them. Oh man, I absolutely loved them. That. Okay. Now this honey is still pretty warm, but doesn't it look beautiful? Look at that. Oh, just lovely. Okay. Oops, my phone came off of its perch. No, let me just do this. I'm just going to put in 1 tablespoon because I don't have a lot of fruit in here. So there goes 1 tablespoon. That's it. can use this same spatula. It has fruit on it because it's just going in the same batch. Doesn't matter. And I will not be sticking this back in the same jar, because that has to stay clean and whatnot. Okay. Yes, I did lick the spoon. God, that tastes so good. Okay. I'm plugged in here because my battery is going to die if I don't. Sorry about my hand. I'm very sorry. It's tacky when you're doing a video. People want to see what you're doing. Okay, make sure I don't have any leaks before I put it in the blender. I actually had a raspberry explosion. Oh, raspberry, there's the other one. I might have said it. It's okay. I have the oven on. The lowest temperature is warm, is 170. Because instead of doing it in the dehydrator, I'm going to do just one little thing in the oven tonight because it's getting late and I actually want to sleep tonight, because in the dehydrator it takes like 7 to 8 hours and I'm not going to be up at 4 in the morning. So it's going to be noisy. I'm going to hit pause. Okay, I'm back. It seriously only took a few seconds, but I didn't want you to have to listen to that noise. So there's that beautiful strawberry mango mix with medicated honey. Let me get this spoon. Actually, I have a baby spoon. Did I actually tighten it too? There we go. I have bad hands. You have to pardon me. Bear with me. This thing is a monster. Has 4 blades. No, whoop, 6 blades. Sorry. So I used the baby spoon, the silicone, to get underneath these blades to get that yummy goodness that we otherwise would just rinse off. No waste, right? Because there's medication in here. Yum. Gosh, that's so lovely. Okay, I got as much as I could. Now, let me bring you over closer. I'm going to spread this out on this silicone-lined baking sheet. I'm just going to pour this in the center. Get as much as I can out of it. Again. So all you need is pureed fruit and honey. It's so good for you. And I'm using this little rice spoon to spread it out with. Now, through trial and error, I have learned that I want the center to be thinner than the edges. So I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch on the center and about 1/4 of an inch on the edges. And you just push it around. Gosh, 2 cups is plenty for this little thing. I usually use in my dehydrator, they're 14-inch squared solid sheets that I put over cover the rack that they sit on, so of course the puree doesn't fall through the rack. Let me get a square going here, and then I can fill it in a little easier. Okay, now I'll just smooth it out. And I want it to look, like I said, a little thinner in the center. A little thicker on the edges because the edges dry out first, so otherwise they get brittle on the edges when you go to roll it. And then you just end up with pieces in a bowl, which is fine because it tastes the same. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. And another tip is you want to roll these right away as soon as they come out when they're warm. Otherwise, when they cool off, you won't be able to roll them. Again, they'll be brittle and they'll just break off in pieces. One of the ones I tried to do yesterday got cold on me real quick, and I just had pieces, so I took a bowl of pieces. The other one I was able to roll up. Okay, that looks about right. Gosh, it smells so good. Oh, got a little too. And they're done whenever it's whenever you touch it in the center and it's not tacky any longer. That's gonna be a little thick. There we go. That's it. It's going in the oven. And it's going to take about 2 hours. Every 30 minutes I spin it around. 180 degrees. Delicious. Thank you.